Today is very auspicious day, Disappearance Day of one very dear disciple of Srila Bhakti Thakur, and he took sannyas from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur, named Srila Bhakti Pradip Tirtha Goswami Maharaj. And also a few hours ago I also got message that one god brother of our Gurudev, means disciple of Srila Parangurudev, Srila Bhakti Pramod Vishnudev Goswami Maharaj, he also entered into Nitya Lila a few hours ago from Chandigarh, and they are taking his transcendental body to Vrindavan, where they will make Samadhi. I met this Maharaj, Vishnudev Maharaj. That time he was still Brahmachari. Now I forgot what was his name, but since total beginning, in 1999, when I came to Puri, after getting Harinam in Mayapur, I went to Puri. So there, at that time, this Maharaj was there, and he knew English very well. So he took me to Parikrama of Puri Dham. What we could visit. We could not go inside. He went, I did not go to Jagannath temple, but he took me to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house, where Mahaprabhu delivered Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and showed him sixth Aram forum. It is still there. That is Ganga Mata Mat. We are hearing about Ganga Mata Goswamini, how she recovered it. And that Shweta Ganga lake, where Jagannath told her to take bath, it will be same as Ganga. Then he took me to Haridas Thakur's Bhajan Kutir, where that Siddha Bakul tree is there, the tree who became perfect by hearing Harinam from Haridas Thakur. And where Haridas Thakur was doing bhajan in Puri, and he took me to Haridas Thakur's Samadhi Mandir, and he took me to Yameshwar Shiva and Tota Gopinath, and maybe some other places I don't remember now, but he showed me all these places. I was totally new, I did not know anything. He gave me Charanamrita with Tulsi, said you can chew and then swallow. Like everything. He was teaching me many things in the beginning, very affectionate. And he was also asking me many questions about how we are living in our country. And at that time, I had like plan, I will stay in Puri for a long time. So even I bought bicycle and everything. I thought I will train that martial art there and also hear Harikatha. But after 14 days there, this Maharaj, that I'm Brahmachari, and also one who is now known as our Padmanabha Maharaj, that time also he was Brahmachari, they told me, we are now going to Chandigarh Mat because your Gurudev Vyasa Puja will be celebrated there. So if you want, you can go with us. We are going with train, so we can help and everything. They were encouraging me. So really, I changed my plan. And I donated that bicycle to our mat for whatever use they need. And we went with train. It's a long ride, but they were all the time speaking something and arranging for prasad, very affectionate, both of them. Then we came to Dilimat, and then from there to Chandigarh. And all the time, both, they were affectionate to me because they knew English and I was only Westerner. So then in like first few years, whenever I came to India, this Maharaj helped me a lot. And he told me to sing Bhaktivinoda Thakur's kirtans and everything. Then he took sannyas from Gurudev. Then he was here and there staying in different mats, Vrindavan, Chandigarh, Chagda for Harikatha and other services, doing kirtan also. So in later years I could not meet him many times, but sometimes I saw on internet, so today I got news that he entered into Nitya Lila to serve Radha Krishna. So I am with great, I have all good memories with this Maharaj. Very strong Harikatha and very affectionate. So I am remembering him and bowing down to him, praying his causeless mercy for the service of Guru Vaishnava Bhagavan. Then also Srila Bhakti Pradip Tirtha Gosai Maharaj. I will read about him. Srila Bhakti Pradip Tirtha Gosai Maharaj was, was born in the village of Sandvip Hatia in the district of Noakhali, now in Bangladesh. His father's name was Rajani Kanta Bosu and mother Bindu Mukhi. Rajani Kanta was a government employee and disciple of the Goswami family of Bhaghanpara. Rajani Kanta and his wife were both initiated by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Later in life, Rajani Kanta accepted the vow of Babaji from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, and Bindu Mukhi spent her last days in Navadip. As a child, Srila Bhakti Pradip Tirtha Gosai Maharaj was called Jagadish. After graduating from the Calcutta University, Jagadish worked as a teacher, living with his wife in Calcutta. His younger brother, Ananta Vasudev, was well known as Srila Bhakti Prasad Puri Goswami. Leaving from the Dhubulia railway station on March 25th, 1910, Jagadish, accompanied by Vaikuntanath Goshal Bhakti Tattva Vachaspati, walked to Mayapur for the anniversary of Lord Chaitanya's appearance. There he met Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur for the first time. He was sitting near the Mahaprabhu Mandir, delivering a lecture in the presence of Siddhanta Saraswati. That time he was not yet sannyasi, Jatindranath Chaudhuri, the Zamindar of Taki, and other devotees. After being introduced by Vaikuntha Goshal, Jagadish fell prostrate on the ground, tearfully seeking shelter of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Acknowledging him, Thakur said, "You are a qualified and respectable person. If you take up the responsibility of preaching on Lord Chaitanya's behalf, certainly large numbers of people will be attracted to the message." That same afternoon, Siddhanta Saraswati had a long conversation with Jagadish for several hours. He advised that Jagadish seek permission from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur to meet Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, who was then staying in Kulia, that is on the other side of Ganga, where now Navadip town is there. Early the next morning, Jagadish reached Kulia, paid his obeisances, and offered a watermelon to Baba Gaurkishore Das. Although Babaji did not usually accept offerings from outsiders, he accepted Jagadish's gift. After hearing that Jagadish had been sent by Bhaktivinoda, Babaji requested Jagadish to lead the kirtan. Gaur Kishore Das Babaji was very pleased to hear Jagadish recite the verse of Narottam Thakur, which says, chanting the holy name of Gauranga makes the body tremble with ecstasy. Maybe this line, Je Gaurangel Namaloy, Tar Hoy Premodoy. In Narottam Thakur is that. Je Gaurangel Namaloy, one who will take or chant the name of Gauranga, then he will, the prem will awaken within him. Afterwards, Babaji encouraged Jagadish to become as humble as a blade of grass and more tolerant than a tree, to avoid the association of dishonest persons and to chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Jagadish told Babaji that he had not taken initiation yet, and Babaji consoled him, saying that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur was waiting to shower his mercy upon him, and that Mayapur was the proper place for dedicating oneself to the service of the Lord, because that Mayapur area, Antardvip, means Atma Nivedan Bhakti is there. Following the advice of Babaji Maharaj, Jagadish returned to Mayapur. At midday, after shaving his head and taking bath in the Ganges, Jagadish received mantra diksha from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur at his cottage in Godrum. Afterwards, Jagadish relished the remnant of prasad from his spiritual master's plate. Here also I heard from our Srila Bharati Goswami Maharaj that Bhaktivinoda Thakur requested him to speak there in that Jogapith Mandir, and there Srila Bhakti Pradip, that means Jagadish at that time, he, by the grace of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he saw and he said that this Harinam will spread all over the world. I can see this. And also when he was discussing with Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj asked him, why you came here? Then Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, no, Jagadish Babu told, I came here for the Gaur Purnima, appearance day of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then I will go back. Then Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj said, how this is possible? Because in Shastra it is stated, when one reaches the Dham of Supreme Lord, then he will never go back. Then how you can go? Then that time Jagadish Babu understood that although Jagadish Babu, although I am reading whole life, I am reading Shastra and I know this verse from Bhagavad Gita, but I never heard in practical realization. Now, what Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj is saying, it was something realized, practical knowledge. because he said, I came to Dham and then I will go back to Calcutta. Then he said, how this is possible? Jad gatva nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. Krishna said, once one reaches that place, he will never come back. That is my abode. Although Gorkishore Das Babaji did not say the Sanskrit verse, but he had that realization. So Jagadish was impressed. Then he asked, then what I have to do? You advise me. Then Gorkishore Das Babaji said, you have to take initiation from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Then you will get the service of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then wherever you will stay, when you will serve Mahaprabhu, you will actually be always in the Dham. Bharati Maharaj explained to me at that time that like if some person has his family in Krishna Nagar, one town near Navadip, but he got one job in Calcutta. So he is working there in Calcutta, but he is earning for what? For his family, which is in Krishna Nagar. Although physically he is staying in Calcutta, but for what purpose? To earn money so that he can maintain his family, which is in Krishna Nagar. So actually he is staying in Krishna Nagar by spirit, by heart. Like our Gurudev told, where our mind is, we are there. If we are in Vrindavan, but we are thinking about our house in Slovenia, then we are actually in Slovenia. But if we are in Slovenia and thinking about Vrindavan, we are there. Everything depends on thinking. And wherever, Gurudev said, wherever one will engage his senses and mind and intelligence, he will go there. So Bharati Maharaj explained to us that he is physically in Calcutta, but actually he is in Krishna Nagar. Like that, when one accepts the service of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from his personal associate, then all his energy will be spent for the service of Mahaprabhu, and by that he will always stay in Dham. So Gorkishore Das Babaji told him, in this way you can stay in Dham all the time. So then he took Harinam and Mantra Diksha from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And on the order of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was the first one to receive Brahma Gayatri and Sacred Thread from Srila Siddhanta Saraswati, means future Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, at that time Brahmachari. So he was the first one when this system started. Before in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, this was not there. Only you get Harinam and Diksha mantras, those which are in Gaudiya line. But Prabhupada introduced this on the order of Bhaktivinoda Thakur about Brahma Gayatri and also this sacred thread, because it was necessary, because at that time some Smarta Brahmins, they were challenging Vaishnavas and committing offense to Vaishnavas that they are low caste and all these things. So there was one big meeting also where Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur proved the glories of Brahmanas and proved the glories of Vaishnavas from Shastra, and that every Vaishnava is naturally a Brahmana by qualities. So he should be accepted as a Brahmana, not as any other caste. And even Vaishnava is superior to Brahmin. but no one should commit offense that like he's not a Brahmin. He's a Brahmin by qualities. So Jiva Goswami also wrote about this in Sandarbha, that by chanting Harinam, one can destroy one's past karmic reactions and all this, and he will come to the platform of Brahmana. But because in society it was not introduced, they will not do those duties of Brahmanas. In next life, if there will be next life, they can get that birth and they can do. But if in the future some powerful Acharya will introduce this system to train them in Brahminical this training and duties, that is also possible. It may happen in future. So this one was Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who introduced this on the order of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and this Jagadish Babu was the first one to receive it. First. That was 10 years before or 8 years before Gauriya Math started. That was in Godrum Sananda Sukada Kunja. So at 2 p.m. that same afternoon, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur read from Shikastaka and explained the meaning to the devotees. We are hearing his explanation also during Kartik. Krishna Das Babaji also recited from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur offered comments. Krishna Das Babaji Maharaj is one sevak of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. You will find his Samadhi Mandir there in Swananda Sukada Kunja Godrum, just next to Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So he was reading Chaitanya Charitamrita and Bhaktivinoda Thakur would comment. So this was, if we could sit there, that would be very fortunate. In that Swananda Sukada Kunja on the bank of Saraswati, and in the presence of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Prabhupada, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, he was also coming to listen, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur explaining Chaitanya Charitamrita. That would be a very nice fortune. A few days after their initiation, Jagadish, Basanta Babu and Manmata Babu underwent the Yagyopavit Samskar, holy thread ceremony, under the guidance of Saraswati Thakur, means Siddhanta Saraswati, and received Brahma Gayatri there. Appreciating Jagadish's dedication to the study of Shastras and his service to the Vaishnavas, Siddhanta Saraswati bestowed upon Jagadish the title of Bhakti Pradip, one who will illuminate. Later, after completing the examination introduced by Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, Jagadish also earned the title Vidya Vinod Bhakti Shastri Sampradaya Vaibhava Acharya. Srila Bhakti Pradip Tirtha Gosai Maharaj spent considerable time at Godrum serving his spiritual master Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. He would recite from Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur would explain the purports. In the early morning, Jagadish, Krishna Das Babaji and other local devotees would go on Sankirtan throughout Godrum, chanting loudly, Nadia Godrum Nityananda Mahajan. This kirtan is written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So you see, he was directly hearing. Now we are reading Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentaries to Chaitanya Charitamrita and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He was directly hearing there and doing Kirtan, Nagar Sankirtan. Our Bharati Maharaj told that Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave that one boy was there, who later also became disciple of Prabhupada, was a small boy, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur encouraged him, you go do Nagar Sankirtan and I will give you that batas. Batas is one sweet like this round made from gur, only gur. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur encouraged him in this way. You go, after I will give you this. On June 23rd, 1914, the evening of his disappearance day, Bhaktivinoda Thakur offered invaluable advice in the presence of Jagadish and other devotees, refuting the arguments of the materialists and the Smartavadis. When his wife died, Jagadish accepted the renounced order under the guidance of Siddhanta Saraswati in the month of Kartik 1920 and came to be known as Tridandi Swami Srila Bhakti Pradip Tirtha Gosai Maharaj. He was the first to receive Tridandi Sannyas Diksha from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Afterwards, oh yes, I forgot to mention before, Bharati Maharaj told us that Gorkishore Das Babaji already told him at that time, in future you will take sannyas and you will preach Mahaprabhu's message everywhere. At that time there was no sannyas in Gauriya Vaishnavism. But Gorkishore Das Babaji can see the future, so he told him, in future you will take sannyas. So he was the first one to get it. Afterwards, following the order of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he left for the eastern part of Bengal. This is Bangladesh. That time was still India, to propagate the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Srila Bhakti Pradip Tirtha Gosai Maharaj was a handsome man, qualified scholar and expert preacher. In the course of his missionary work, he went from East Bengal to Orissa via Calcutta, Burdwan and Midnapur. Later, 24 disciples who were qualified with Western education took sannyas from Siddhanta Saraswati and were sent to different parts of India to preach the message of Lord Gauranga. On March 18, 1933, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati delivered a farewell address in honor of Srila Bhakti Pradip Tirtha Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Hridoy Bon Maharaj and Sambitananda Bhakti Shastri prior to their departure for preaching in European countries. Here it is not mentioned, but he was also preaching in Madras, that Gauriya Mat, together with our Parangurdev and Srila Bhakti Rakshidhardev Gosai Maharaj. And as you know, you heard, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur first decided to send our Parangurdev and Srila Sridhar Maharaj to Western countries. He made passports and everything. First Parangurdev, then one elderly household disciple of Prabhupada, he suggested that he's a very young man, very handsome. There, all ladies, they will be attracted and they will try to catch him. So better you send some old man. Then Prabhupada changed and he sent Srila Bhakti Pradip Tirtha Gosai Maharaj and Srila Bhakti Hridoy Bon Gosai Maharaj. And Sridhar Maharaj also, Prabhupada wanted to send him, but Sridhar Maharaj humbly said that if you order me, then surely I have to go. But in my opinion, it will not be good to send me because I am not such a person to like to mix with people. I'm not very, this is not in my nature. And also I have some difficulty in understanding their pronunciation of English. So Prabhupada then did not send, and Parangurdev also, he told later, I was actually very glad that Prabhupada did not send me, because I was afraid if I will be there in Europe and in between Prabhupada will disappear here, then that would be very difficult for me. So I was glad. So then these three were sent. During his stay in the West, apart from propagating the teachings of Sri Chaitanya, he wrote many articles as well as translated the life of Gaura Sundar and also Bhagavad Gita into English. This Bhagavad Gita we were reading, his translation, and later it was some years back, it was discovered that not only he translated Bhagavad Gita, he also translated Bhagavad Arka Marichimala, book written by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, where he is giving 100 or maybe, yes, maybe 100 shlokas, main shlokas of Bhagavatam to give evidence for the Dashamula Tattva of Mahaprabhu. 10 points of the teachings of Mahaprabhu. He gave evidences from Bhagavatam. He explained that. Later I will read little from that book. So this was discovered few years back in that London Gauriya Math. No one knew it was there. Then that was recovered and now they print it in Bagbazar Gauriya Math there. So Srila Bhakti Pradip Tirtha Goswami Maharaj was present when Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur departed from this world on 31st December 1936. Or it was like 1st January 1937, because it was 5:30 a.m. In Mayapur on March 26, 1937, Gaur Purnima, Bhakti Prasad Puri Goswami, the younger brother of Bhakti Pradip, was officially appointed Acharya of the Jogapith, that is Ananta Vasudeva Prabhu that time. On behalf of the sannyasis, Srila Bhakti Pradip Tirtha Maharaj delivered the inaugural address. In 1950, Sri Bhakti Prasad Puri left for Vrindavan. At the first annual general meeting held at the Sri Chaitanya Math in that was Gauriya Math, not Chaitanya Math, here it is, and it was in 1951. Sri Bhakti Pradip Tirtha Maharaj was elected the president of the Gauriya Mission. At the age of, because you know, just little I will tell the history, Prabhupada did not give any name of any Acharya. He said Acharya is self-effulgent. So, but he said that they should make a GBC, governing body committee, with 13 members, and he suggested who should be there. So then it was there, and then our Parangurdev was the first to ask who will be Acharya after the disappearance of Prabhupada, because we are preaching, so to whom we will bring new aspirants for taking initiation. So then that discussion started, and then they decided, it was voted for Ananta Vasudeva Prabhu. But then that period started. So our Parangurdev, Srila Bhakti Daita Madhav Goswami Maharaj, he was in favor that this Maharaj should become Acharya, Srila Bhakti Pradip Tirtha Goswami Maharaj, because he was the eldest of all, disciple of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and first sannyasi, and very like this. But Ananta Vasudeva was very strong in Siddhanta, so many they liked him, so he was selected. But later on, Ananta Vasudev left Gauriya Math, got married, and then Srila Bhakti Pradip Tirtha Goswami Maharaj was elected to be Acharya of Gauriya Mission, that branch of Gauriya Math. At the age of 82 years, he went to Purushottam Math in Jagannath Kshetra, where he was engaged under the collective advice of some gurus in meditation until he passed away on the auspicious Purnima Tithi in the month of Agrahaya in 1954, means on today's day. So he was Acharya for 2 years. He was very old. In the early morning of that day, Srila Bhakti Pradip Tirtha Goswami Maharaj called his devotees to his side and affectionately gave his last instructions. He meticulously performed his daily sadhana as usual, reciting from Gauranga Smarana Mangalam and Swaniyama Dashakam by Raghunath Das Goswami. He also read from the 10th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, Brahma Stavas, that is prayers of Brahma to Lord Krishna, until 11:30 a.m. Afterwards, he took his massage, bath, and dressed in new clothing. Sitting on a new asana, he put on tilak, recited his daily prayers, offered water to Tulsi, then accepted some prasad. After a little rest, he gathered all the devotees around him, sat on the new asana with his japa in hand, and listened to Anantanath Das read about Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan pastimes from the Madhya Lila of Chaitanya Bhagavat. He listened up to the stanza, means verse, that Supreme Lord, who is constantly glorified by Lord Shiva, Digambar Bhol, Digambar means one who is without cloth. That same Lord is now moving about here, manifesting his Sankirtan Lila. So Shiva is all the time singing the glories of Supreme Lord. So this same Supreme Lord is now moving about here in Navadip, manifesting his Sankirtan Lila. At that point, Srila Bhakti Pradip Tirtha Goswami Maharaj placed his japa mala on the chair, bowed his head, and with folded hands uttered, O Gaur, O Nitai, O Gadadhar, and breathed his last. This is how he disappeared on today's day. In Purushottam Dham, means Jagannath Puri, in that mat which was established by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur at Chatak Parvat. Mahaprabhu, when he saw those sand dunes on the beach of Jagannath Puri, he thought, oh, this is Govardhan. So he was running towards there, and he fainted, and all this we heard from Chaitanya Charitamrita. So in that place, Chatak Parvat, Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur made this mat, Purushottam mat. It is still there. Now it is under Gauriya Mission, means Bhag Bazar Gauriya Mat. Because at first Gauriya Mat separated into two parts. There were 64 mats during the time of Prabhupada, and then Ananta Vasudev got half, and Kunja Bihari got half of those mats. Then later, different disciples of Prabhupada, they also made new missions, like our Parangurudev Sridhar Maharaj, Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, and others. So many others, Bhakti Sarup Parvat Maharaj, Paramahansa, so many. So in this way it spread. So this, from this mat, he disappeared. So I want to read something. We read already his Bhagavad Gita, so I want to read from this book. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that once in my dream, Swarup Damodar Goswami appeared in my dream. Swarup Damodar Goswami means personal associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his secretary, personal secretary in Krishna Lila Lalita. So he appeared in my dream and he told me, he ordered me that I should write one book where I will explain the Bhagavad philosophy. I will give all the evidences in only 100 shlokas. So as a concise study, very summary, concise, and he categorized it into 10 topics, those 10 fundamental topics of Mahaprabhu, that Supreme Lord is supreme among Shiva all, and he's full of rasa, then about Jiva, liberated and conditioned, and Achintya Veda, 10 topics there, Abhideya, Prayojana, all. So I want to read, just I will open where it will just randomly I will open. This verse is from Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 1st chapter, 9th verse. Drishta Shrutabhyam Yat Papam Janan Apyatmanohitam Karoti Bhuyo Vivasah Prayashchitam Ato Katham. O sage, committing sin is punishable by law and is disgraceful to the public and perdition in next life. So it is abominable to commit any kind of sin. Still, men are prone to commit sin unwittingly again and again. After due expiation, means when they do that purificatory atonement. Hence, such kind of penance or expiation is not worth the name, as it fails to uproot the sinful desire. It is rather nama aparat, owing to misidentification of soul with mind and body, and hence sheer disregard of the holy name. So this is from the topic of atonements. You know, in 5th canto at the end, Shukadeva Goswami was speaking about different hells where one has to go to get the result of his sinful activities. Then Parikshit Maharaj asked, is there any way one can be rescued? Then Shukadeva Goswami, yes, by karma kant, this expiation or atonement or prayashchita, purification, one can. So he gave, then Parikshit Maharaj said, I see people doing this, but after that, they again commit same sin. It is like elephant batting. He will bat and then again put that dirt on his. So I don't think this is real expiation, because it does not remove the desire to sin. So let me see if this. No, it is not. So just then Shukadeva Goswami, he said, yes, you are right. So Parikshit Maharaj said, is there no any other expiation? Then Shukadeva said, yes, by jnana. They will follow brahmacharya, control over senses, study of the Vedas, and meditation and all this. Then they will burn up all sins like fire burns down the whole bamboo forest. Then Parikshit Maharaj said, yes, this is very good. But as you give this example, then also I can say in relation to this example that bamboo forest is really destroyed up to the ground by forest fire. But the root, so there is no desire, nothing, no activity, nothing. But the root of the bamboo is still there. So when the next rain will come, again, the bamboo forest will grow. So this also, I don't see it is actual expiation. Although it removes the desire to sin. Then Shukadeva Goswami said, yes, it is true. So is there no any other expiation? Then Shukadeva Goswami said, yes. But for this expiation, people qualified are very rare. Very few. What is that? Submitting to Supreme Lord. Means by serving his pure devotee. To learn Sharanagati from pure devotee, that kind of expiation or atonement, that will remove reactions to sin. It will remove desire to sin. It will also remove the root, which is ignorance. It will uproot with no chance of reappearing, because by bhakti, one will be positively engaged and getting higher taste, so there is no chance of him again coming under the influence of ignorance and committing sins. So this is there. So only one more verse I will read here from Shri Bhagavat Arkamarichimala, translated into English by Srila Bhakti Pradip Tirtha Gosai Maharaj. Nasnatah patyam evanam vyadhayo vibhavanti hi evam niyamakrit rajan sanai kshemaya kalpate. O king, means Parikshit Maharaj, disease is bound to aggravate when the prescribed diet is neglected or ignored. So also, how can there be well-being without a regular counting of the holy names, both in chanting and meditating? The rule is, chanting the holy name is constant chanting of the same with gradual increment in the count, means increasing in the count, and without the least tinge of hypocrisy or offense against the holy name or Vaishnava saints. Regularity with gradual increment, means increasement in chanting and meditating on the holy name, form, attributes and deeds of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna is conducive to the eternal well-being of the bona fide chanter. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave more elaborate explanation of the verses. That is not translation, it is a realization of that verse, and he's revealing that, and this Maharaj translated into English. So if one is sick, but he does not follow the diet, like if someone has jaundice, if he will take items with oil or ghee, then his disease will increase. So he has to be careful about diet. Or if I'm high in pitta, if I will eat those things which are increasing pitta, then my disease will aggravate. So like that, if I neglect regular chanting and I don't increase my chanting gradually, then how I can be rescued from Maya? how I can get eternal welfare. This is one thing, to regularly chant and to increase the number. And another thing, the quality also you should be careful that there should not be any offenses committed to the name and to Vaishnavas. So if we are carefully applying this and increasing our chanting, then that will be conducive to our eternal welfare. So I am remembering Maharaj, only I saw his photo. Also there in Bagbazar Gauriya Math, his photo is there, because he was a Acharya for 2 years. So I am bowing down to Srila Bhakti Pradip Tirtha Goswami Maharaj and pray for his causeless mercy. Tomorrow we will hear further.